Palaflahiatu, you're listening into Radio Sunshine's news bulletin for today. Firstly, the airwaves have been busy with political campaigns as Radio Sunshine offers airtime to candidates running in the upcoming national elections. Campaign materials have been few and far between this time round, with some people opting to use cost-effective means like social media and email to distribute political campaigns. However, public servants were given a stern warning from those in charge of the government network to refrain from using government resources and networks to distribute any political campaigns. It is government's policy that public servants in their work must act with professionalism and political neutrality, that they must also ensure they do not bring the service into disrepute through their private activities. Driver's license and vehicle registrations were up for renewal by the end of March, and Niuean police say there are still a number of people who have yet to pay. A reminder has been issued yearly for renewals, and it has been a month. The Chief of Police, Tony Edwards, says that they have been understanding and lenient, but staff will be boosting up their checkpoints, and this will also serve as a final reminder. Niuean police say to avoid disappointment and prosecution, arrangements need to be made now for payment of these licenses and registrations as required by law. Children are being encouraged to save with a new savings scheme expected to be rolled out over the next few weeks in Niuean Primary School. Parents have been advised this week for consent for their children to be involved in this program that will teach them the value of saving at an early age. The program is supported by the Niuean Commercial Enterprise Limited and Niuean Development Bank to establish First Saver bank accounts. This initiative was discussed by the ECE and Niuean Primary School Committee back in 2011 and will be open to all students. Now looking at our news stories from the region, the head of the World Health Organization in the Solomon Islands says damage to health clinics in rural areas means many people affected by last week's flooding are without medical help. Dr. Audrey Aumua says hospital admissions are increasing with a number of people suffering physical trauma and broken bones. She says the provision of water, sanitation and food are priorities, and the hospital is functional and people are going into the city seeking medical care. Dr. Audrey Aumua says vector-borne diseases such as malaria and dengue are a threat, with agencies monitoring these closely. Fiji's acting police commissioner says the force has no funds available to investigate complaints against police officers. More than 200 complaints were recorded against officers in the first quarter of the year, which the acting commissioner Ravi Narayan says is a concern. FBC News reports Mr. Narayan is saying the government does not allow a single penny to be spent on the investigating officers because they are regarded as professionals and urged to take their roles and responsibilities seriously. New Zealand's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Murray Mackay, is in Suva for talks. He will meet his Fiji counterpart, Ratu Inoke Kambuambola, as well as the Attorney General, Ayesayed Kayam, and others. The officials will discuss plans for the elections later this year, for which New Zealand is providing support. The visit is the first since New Zealand and Australia lifted all sanctions against Fiji at the end of March. A Papua New Guinea writer and blogger says a proposed cybercrime policy could go too far in policing activity on social media and could be more of a move by the government to control social media. Martin Namarong, the author of the prominent blog The Namarong Report, says that while he supports the introduction of measures to control cybercrime like spam, hacking and fraud, the research into social media is concerning. The PNG government says there is no intention to bar people from expressing their opinions, and if someone's activity were to be monitored or gathered, the authorities would have to present a thorough case to internet providers. The Chief Officer of the Vanuatu's Fire Services says a draft for a Fire Act written 3 years ago is yet to receive response from higher authority. Boma Avia says the draft would help improve their service and include a funding provision for fuel. Mr. Avia says fire officers are now being forced to take portable pumps in their own vehicles to fight fires around Port Vila due to having no fuel in their fire trucks. Vanuatu's acting Minister of Internal Affairs, Stephen Kalsako, confirmed the draft had been received but could not make any further comment. A health official in American Samoa has reassured residents that pink eye is not a serious long-term threat. Dr. Mark Duran says that as of Monday morning, 468 cases of pink eye had been recorded at the hospital and 3 community health centres on the main island of Tutuila, while there are no cases in Manua Island Group. However, these numbers do not include the nearly 2,300 students in public schools and 130 teachers affected. Dr. Jurin says there are also a lot of people taking care of themselves at home instead of seeing a doctor. He says the community should not panic over the pink eye outbreak. Meanwhile, all public schools will remain closed for the remainder of the week. The current outbreak of dengue in Fiji is a major concern to all, says World Health Organization Director, Pacific Technical Support and Representative Dr. Yunguo Liu. In his address at the World Health Day celebration, Nolu Nasinu, Dr. Liu highlighted alarming dengue statistics recorded so far, about 20,000 cases with 12 lives lost. He added the ministry acknowledged the havoc and threat to health security disease-carrying mosquitoes could inflict. World Health Organization Director, Pacific Technical Support and Representative Dr. Yunguo Liu said lymphatic filariasis was the other indigenously transmitted vector-borne disease in Fiji. He said that lymphatic filariasis was endemic in 73 countries globally, which included 22 countries across Asia and the Pacific, of which 15 were Pacific Island countries. The Papua New Guinea government has convened a panel of 6 social policy experts to give guidance on how best to settle refugees in the country. The panel is led by former politician Dame Karen Kindu, lawyer Esther Monti, Catholic Archbishop John Bribat, former PNG ambassador to Fiji Peter F. Fair, and senior public servants Dominica Mai and Chris Katzi. At its inaugural meeting on Tuesday, the panel was briefed on its roles and responsibilities by Chief Migration Officer Mateo Rambura. Pato said help would be sought from international partners like the International Organization for Migration to implement the policy. Under the agreement reached last year, Australia will bear the full cost implementing the settlement of refugees. And those are our regional news stories as well as our local news bulletin here on Radio Sunshine for today.